to go back to not untying this like I just did. These are rope halters, training halters, made of really excellent marine quality rope. And this is what they would use, like the lead rope, out on a sailing vessel or ships to tie them. And the reason why we choose and they choose this type of marine material rope is because of its buoyancy, the way it feels. So if you were to pick up this quality and compare it to a nylon rope or a polyester rope or a cotton rope, they're going to feel very different. And this has the best weight to it. Even when it gets wet, it still has a good weight. You can see that it's easier to throw. Think if they're using it for marine and vessels, you're going to want to throw the rope to tie to the pier. You're going to want to use this type of rope on the ship, on the boat, to secure things, to hoist things. So it's just got a great feel to it. And then the thinner marine quality in this rope halter, it is so light. Most of us know that horses are oppositional by nature, and when we use these heavy leather and nylon traditional halters to handle them or keep on them all the time, they're heavy. The horse pulls against it just naturally, instinctively, because they're oppositional, especially behind the pole, because this is where the predator usually will go after them, here and under the jugular, under the throat here. These are the two most vulnerable spots on a horse. And so for training purposes, all the way up through the levels in our program, through third level dressage in our program, we use these, and we could use these forever. And so they're very light, and yet when it's put on the horse, it's light until the horse pulls against it. And then the thinner the material, the stronger the pressure. So if you were to put 3 fingers on your hand and push, the pressure is dispersed evenly amongst the 3 fingers. So it doesn't feel like much. It's just kind of a dull pressure. But if you put 1 finger on and push the same amount of pressure, you can feel that. It's harder, you're more sensitive to that. So your 1 finger is the same thinness, so to speak, as this rope halter, versus 3 fingers is the same thickness of a traditional nylon or leather halter. So it helps the horse develop more sensitivity to feel in contact, yielding and giving and moving with contact instead of pulling against. So it's really important. And again, these knots, like I don't like Clinton Anderson's material for the halter because it's very stiff and it has many knots. And I've seen clients use it with really traumatized horses that need a lot of rehabilitation, horses that just pull, run, bolt, and it can leave marks, burn marks on the horses, rub marks. It's not a very friendly material, whatever he uses. But this marine quality is excellent. And so I buy this from one of my resources on my website, Handcrafted Jewels. There's other clinicians and trainers that either make them or buy them from other makers. But that's who I recommend. So what you have here is a quick release. Do you see this little piece sticking up? So when we have our equipment together, we want to keep it, all of our equipment, not just our halters, our bridles, our saddles, our bareback pads. We want everything really nicely organized and put away. So we want to put it away and keep it nice and tight and tidy and organized so it's easy to get to and undo and put on. I don't want to have Latigo straps everywhere with my Western cinches. I don't want my English, my dressage saddle stirrups hanging all over the place. I don't want my rope halters left like this, untied, because they do get tangled and turned inside out, and it can take 20 minutes to get them right side. So everything gets hung up, it's put away really nice and tidy. And again, when it's tied like this, and I'll show you how to do this in a minute, then we can carry it out like this. We can carry multiple halters out. Everything's, again, organized and ready to be used immediately. I don't have to fumble around. I cannot stand that. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, and everybody knows it. So, again, you can hang it up nice like this. You can hang it up nice like this, and then it's ready to be used. So this is called a quick release. There's two ways to do the quick release. And all it does is make it so that you have this point string on one end that you can pull through. So first, let me show you how this halter works on Deco. Thank you, Deck. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to hold this halter. Here's the nose where my thumb is. Where my other thumb is behind the ears, the pole. This is under the chin. And so I'm going to hold this little knot where the quick release is with my left hand, and I'm not going to let go. My right hand is then going to ask him nicely and gently to come into my hand. Again, this is a process. Quick release, and now look, I have a rope around his pole. So the pole area up top here, behind his ears is the pole, is the easiest way to control a horse with just a rope, a lead rope, or we're using now part of this halter to control him, versus trying to come over here, the thicker part of his neck. We have less ability to move the horse. But this part of his body up here by his pole is part of his balance. So the purpose is that you pull them in, and then he already knows to stick his nose in to help put the halter on. So I'm going to turn him around and show you all that. Good boy, buddy. Good boy, Deck. Thank you. So again, once I do the quick release, I'm going to stand back by his shoulder, and he already understands to come in and turn around and help me. And then I'm going to slip the nose on and shimmy it like I'm doing. You can already see how it looks like a halter now. So that's the second step. So let's go back to the first step. Is I'm going to take the quick release and undo it. That's going to be the first step. Thank you, buddy. Underneath and over. Feel for the piece of the halter that's sticking out. Pull his neck in. That's second. Third, I'm going to stick his nose in. Fourth, I'm going to come through this latch or hitching post here where my left hand still is. That's 4. I'm going to shimmy up a little, make sure that this is over the fleshy part of his nose, not too low, or I'm going to cut off his air, not too high, or it's not going to have enough leverage, right on the fleshy part. And I'm going to shimmy so it's snug and in place, keeping him bent. Again, this is a process. There is no technique. I'm not going to fight with him. He's learned to trust me, listen to me, work with me through the work that we do here. I'm going to ask him to stay down and focused on me. So once I get it through this hitching post, I'm now going to clamp up high here with my left hand. The reason being is so that I come back behind the hitching post. This is key. And now use my little pinky and my right hand to pull the end piece through and tie it. So the key here is you want to tie around the hitching post. Most people tie above it. And so when you tie around the hitching post, if the horse pulls, you can see how he tightens between this knot in the top. He tightens. For us being a training and behavior center, if we tie above the hitching post, way up here, which most people do, and our horse is a pullback, so above the hitching post, we're way up here, this will come loose. He can pull this. If he pulls enough, he can pull this loose. And so by tying it between this point here and this knot, remember, behind the hitching post. So that's why I'm bringing my left hand up here to give me access. Using my left pinky and my right hand to pull that end piece through. Figure out how to work both your hands now to help secure that. And there you go. That's where you want to tie it, is on the hitching post. Really important for these rope halters, so that if he pulls with me, it gets tighter. It doesn't come loose. Really important. Another reason why I like these halters made by Handcrafted Jewel is you have an extra, if you want to zoom in underneath his chin, his jaw area, you have an extra piece of material that you can slide up and down until it gets dirty and it's hard to slide. So I can make this tighter, or I can pull it down and make it looser. So it helps you custom fit to the horse's nose. Because a lot of these halters without this, look how much gaping area he would have open. And the thing with rope halters that makes them dangerous is they don't break. And there have been situations where these have been left on horses and they've gone to take their hind leg and itch themselves, scratch their ear or their neck, and they've gotten their foot caught in this excess opening and struggled and ended up severing their tendon because it's a rope burn. So we have to be really careful with these. They're just for training and riding. You never want to leave this halter on. And I don't trailer with these. I don't well, I do, but that's a whole nother story. I don't recommend tying your horse ever in a horse trailer with one of these, or tying them, period, because nothing breaks unless you have a little clip here, and we don't have any clips on these. They can't bust. They can't break. So when I say I tie my horses in the trailer, my schoolmasters, with these, it's because they have a clip, or they basically self-load and they're not tied. So therefore I don't have to worry about them needing to break free. All right, so that's how we use this rope halter, and look how light he is. And we ride in this, and Deco is becoming a nice, strong level 3 dressage horse. Canter half passes, simple lead changes, nice big extended working trot, half passes, leg yields. He's pretty fancy. So now let's talk about how we create the quick release. There's two ways. So again, I'm holding the hitching post area with my left hand, this knot, and I'm not going to let go. I'm going to take about 8 inches of the end of this halter that goes around the neck. The end, I'm going to take 8. I'm going to create a bend, a little loop now. I'm going to take this loop, first loop, and put it through the hitching post loop. So it's a loop through a loop, your first. Loop through a loop, just big enough to put your finger through. Now I'm going to take the rest of the string and create another loop and put it through where my finger is. So this will be your second loop through the first loop that you created. Now I'm still holding on where the knot is, and yet I've got my left hand, 2 fingers, thumb and index on the loop, and my right hand we're going to pull to make the quick release tight. So you want it to look like that so you can pull it. So again, let's take the hitching post, 8 inches of the remaining part of the halter, bend it over your middle finger, create a loop, put the first loop through the hitching post, and put your left index finger through that loop. That way it doesn't get any bigger and doesn't go anywhere, go away. Now take the remainder, make another loop, and put it through where your left index finger is. Hold, kind of hold everything. Figure out how you can pull both ends without losing your quick release. That's one way to make your quick release. The other is you can lay the 8 inches over the hitching post. Lay it over and hold it with your left thumb. You can see how my left hand is. Very important. Now I'm going to cross over and come up through this hole where my right thumb is and the hitching post hole. I'm going to come through both, bend it, pull it, and tighten it. And I've made another quick release, just a little smaller. So lay 8 inches or more over, hold it with your thumb to your index finger, cross over, push up through the hole that you've just made and the hitching post hole, make a little loop, hold the loop, and pull your pieces to tighten. And that's the second way to make a quick release. And there you've got your equipment's nice and tidy. And again, the hand goes over the neck. I love. Over the neck, the right hand, left hand goes under. You feel, come here baby, take your time to make sure he stays with you. You feel for the quick release and voila. That was much better than the first time. First 2 times. Thank you, Sweet Pea. And make this a loving, awesome, positive experience. Your relationship is the biggest reward you can give your horse, always. And that's because relationships are so important to horses. We give treats all the time, but never when we work with our horses. They get them when they see us. They never know when they're going to get them. And they don't get them every day, but sometimes they get them multiple times. It just depends. But they enjoy it. They like their carrots, their apples, their mints, and so forth. So why not? All right, that's it for haltering. Thank you.